Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm back at the off-grid farm after the big rain. Oh yeah, nice cloudy, soupy skies. It just kind of stopped drizzling just a few minutes ago. But yesterday it rained all day from that dual front system that's basically, it's going back out in the Atlantic. So as much of of a rain event as they thought it was, could have been, should have been, may have been, it didn't happen. That's right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. We were afraid that there would be too much water heading back into the mountains of North Carolina, the western part of the country, or the state. It didn't happen, thank God. So this system's kind of cutting the state in half. It's just kind of going right up. Like Charlotte right now is, of course, obviously getting rained on. We got rain on all day yesterday. But I came up here today because I needed to I just wanted to organize a bunch of stuff and stay busy because it was just a kind of one of those nasty days. So I came over here and went after this space here, rehung up all my tools, organized all my buckets. Of course, the lawnmower, I forgot I had this cover, so I went ahead and put this cover there. I've got this other one. This is a heavy duty canvas that I always kept the lawnmower under. And I'm gonna give this thing away, this bush hog. It works, but I don't need it. So if anybody near me, if you guys want this, or I'll give it to the lawnmower guy on Highway 98. You know, it's a piece of junk. But you know, like I said, it runs. So we'll see. I'm gonna get it out. I'm getting it out of here today. I'm taking it with me back to Raleigh and probably end up giving it to that lawnmower guy. But yeah, bench and everything's all organized. Wheelbarrow. And yesterday too, even though it was raining and pouring, I had to go to the hospital and put a bid in on this really large project. On top of their roof is a flat roof, but it's rubber. It's, you know, it's a rubber seal, and they have all these multiple drains up there, and they're getting clogged with a lot of debris because obviously there's a lot of trees, you know, bushes and stuff like that in the courtyard. There's just a lot of foliage and just natural debris that collects and clogs up dirt, you know. And I put a bid on it, and if they approve that, that's great. I've got the Christmas lights getting approved again this year, so the hospital is keeping me very, very, very busy, thank God. It's a big contract. It's a good contract. But back to this. Came out here, just kind of reorganized this whole mess here in this corner, and just looked everything over. And also, too, the little house was getting green, the vinyl. So I bought a case of bleach because I got a power washing gig coming up this week or next week, depending on when I want to pull the trigger on it. But I went ahead and soaked this down in bleach. And on contact, it automatically takes the green out. There's no problems there. Did this. It was starting to show a little funkiness to it. Now remember, this deck itself is 6 years old, so it's hanging in there with the tin roof and everything's doing good. The chairs were looking a little green, needless to say. But yeah, I went ahead and bleached this whole thing. And being that it rained, I got an entire fresh bucket of nice clean water. And see what it does, it cleans it out and filters it, so it's real nice. See, that's clean. That's almost drinking water, man. I wouldn't, but you know how it is. Yeah, you can drink it, but you know, being that it's been in here a while, there's a little scum on the bottom. Not much, but it's not too bad. Good time to get this washed up too. And what I did is I lost a set of keys for this. When I was dealing with the stupid cows over there that escaped the other day, I had the key in my pocket, and God only knows where in the damn woods I lost it. Thank God I have a spare key, man. Thank God. And I was thinking about that too. I said, I hope I kept that spare, man. I know I did, but I just couldn't remember where I put it. So yeah, you can see how it gets dirty underneath here. It'd be great if I was able to power wash this thing. That would even be more better. That's right. Boat's looking good. And this is an all-weather canvas. So it will protect the boat. The inside hull is composite wood, so you got to be careful. You can't let the interior of these type of boats deteriorate. These bass fishing boats. You just got to be careful with the composite materials they have. I'm slowly but surely organizing a couple other things. Now, one thing I do have is a little problem right here. So I gotta figure out, a little bit of rot is showing up through there, and I think I might have a little leak somewhere right in here. See that dent? So who knows? It's going behind the wall. In fact, there's a drop right there. Aha! In fact, I feel it. There's the water right there. See it? Damn. Something hit it. I'm going to have to caulk some silicone on the outside of this thing, because it's probably coming in where the screw is, or something hit the hell out of this thing. And, all right, that's a project. Because look what it's doing to the floor. Now, the outside skin I'm not worried about, obviously. Let's see if I can see what the hell happened up there. Somewhere right in there on that seam. I'll need to definitely deal with that. But yeah. Okay. Well, at least I know I got something I gotta fart with on this trailer. Yeah, let me get down off this thing. Yeah. There we go. My spare blocks. Okay. But yeah, what I did was I put my, in one tub, I've got my camping gear. And the other one, I got my fishing gear. And this is my general purpose trailer. So, the one thing I've learned, if you have a trailer like that, now this trailer here is old. This is what, 12? I think I've had it 12 years, 13, something like that. I've had it for a long time. This is a great trailer. When you buy one of these, you don't want to sell them. Don't ever sell these, because they're so invaluable. Hauling my four-wheeler in here, hauling a motorcycle in here. I mean, I can haul all kinds of shit in this trailer. That's a 7x16, so, and I'm 6'3". I stand up in this with no problem. This is 6'6" inside here on the roof. So yeah, you don't sell these. Perfect. And it looks like it looks like the rain, the drizzle's finally moving out of here, which is good. But work's there. The thing about the hospital is that contract's coming up on 11 years. And every once in a while I make a few mistakes out there. They seem like, sometimes they don't need me. And then all of a sudden they load me up with work. Because I do their dirty work, their dirty jobs. Stuff that nobody else really, really thinks about or, bids on. So I get those contracts. Power washing was the big one. That's what got me started there. The power washing. And I didn't have to have this big expensive rig. I just had to have the motivation and a good price to get in the door, and now they keep me. That's perfect. Now I'm able to do bigger jobs because I have the better equipment. Now, the next thing is going to be this. I'm going to figure a way of getting all this out of here. Where I'm going to put it, I'm not 100% sure yet. But what I might do, and I'm seriously thinking about this, because this space here, I need to utilize it a little bit better. And the one thing I'm thinking, and I was looking at this, the one thing I was thinking is to put everything right along this wall. That way, I'm utilizing this space and I still have parking for the four-wheeler. So this is a general purpose, vehicle equipment space. And that's what it was all about originally. That's the intention of this. This is where I had the excavator, where I had, God, what else did I park in here? I had a truck in here that was running this space for a while. And, oh yeah, the tractor. Both my tractor, the old Mr. Sexy and the Kubota, they were all parked in here too. So this space has been very, very, it's a good shelter. Now, let's jump into a future project, and I'll give you kind of an outcome situation on what really the meat and potatoes of this really is. Like any guy, a real gearhead guy, if you're a gearhead and you're a guy, you want a shop. You don't want just a garage. A two-car garage, they're okay, but in reality, you would love to have a shop. I know, I bitch, I moan, I groan about this shop business, but the cost, and you guys know this as well as I do, the cost is it's high, man. And nowadays, with inflation, it's even worse. So, I already went down to zoning and planning. Make sure I don't step in a freaking fire ant nest like that. Have my crap all, I've already gotten bit this morning. But a 35 by 50 shop right here. 4 bays. The problem is, I can't get out for anything less than $38,000. That's with the slab, and that's with the building. So you can add the math on how much square footage that is. 35 wide by 50 long. Okay, and that would be pretty much using this space right here. And I could put a bigger building here. This could hold a huge building. Okay. But the problem I run into here is this. The county or the city, zoning and planning, they got this kind of a weird rule. Since this is a farm residential, this rating on the land here, that they want to see one of the two things happen. You want to put a house and you want to have a farm. That's kind of it. Now, what I've done out here kind of sidelines that whole concept, the way I've built this whole place out. And I made that real apparently clear when I first bought this, and I went down to zoning and planning initially and talked to all of them and printed out, the site map and all the other regulations about what I could do and what I can't do on this land. And guess what they found? I talked to this one girl. Now, I don't know if she's full of shit or not. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. But she looked at the plans for this whole place, okay? And guess what? This road was never even permitted. Now, that'll tell you how old these properties really are. They go back all the way to the 20s and 30s, okay? They put this road in without any permission. They just cut it in here. Well, guess what? The city said, well, guess what? They never permitted the road. And I say, well, look, this has been here for 50 years plus, 60, 70 freaking years. This road has been here, but it was all mud and it was dirt. But it was here all that time. And you're telling me the county, the city, never, ever said a word or inspected it or did anything to any of this stuff out here? And then there's a house there. There's a house over there And you're telling me, and they just built a 5,000 square foot house in the back, you're telling me that the city knows nothing. You really? I think that's called denial. But I've been out here almost, this December is 11 years. And they got aerial photos of this property with all the buildings on it. And they are taxing me on the little house. $25,000. That's right. That is $25,000 in taxes and that shipping container. These two structures, plus the land, and the reassessment now is $65,500 for this property. Where it was $44,800. That's how much it went up. Okay? That's how much it went up. So what in reality, when I said I just want to put a shop, she goes, "Oh, don't you mean a barn-dominium?" No, that's not what I meant. You want to have a kitchen and everything in it? I go, "No, I don't. I want a shop. To fix, to work on my toys, to work on my equipment. I still own a company. The land's in a company name. Mr. Fix-All Home and Garden." I said, "I have equipment and it's basically storage." Well, we had to go through this whole list. And there was no storage on that list. Not like if I was going to have a storage rental property out here, and rent out spaces. That wasn't part of it because it's farm residential. So now I got to fight with them over just putting a shop up. Now, if I said it was a barn-dominium, then I would have to get a permit to run sewer, water, and I don't want to do all that. That's where the confusion is coming in. So I'm waiting for a phone call, actually. She's supposed to get with me, actually, today or tomorrow to run this by, the guys that I spoke with 10 years ago who still work there in the city down in Hillsboro, to get a confirmation on it that I can go ahead and submit a permit and submit some plans and drawings. I'm putting up a shop. But then the cost, $38,000. $38,500. I don't know, man. What do you guys think? And I already know what you're thinking. Why spend the money? What, just to put more shit inside a building? I mean, I got this. I can put shit in here, right? God. Oh, my life, man. My life. But yeah, it would be nice if all this stuff was just sitting inside a building all nice and pretty and clean, Yeah. But is it worth spending that kind of money and dipping into my savings? Hell no. God. I got the money, but man, I would hate to dip into my money market and pull out 40 grand. I would just hate to do it. You know what I'm saying, dog? Well, I got to wash this four-wheeler, drive it around a little bit, hang out more here, and, live that off-grid life, man. Now that I've come to the realization I can't have a shop, man. There ain't no way. I need to start a GoFundMe. Some, veteran, with PSTD, disabled, mentally handicapped, needs help, putting up a shop. Maybe the whole city, town of Hillsboro will pitch in. God, I seriously doubt that'll ever happen. That's nice to dream, It's nice to dream. I hope you guys are doing well in your world. And I'm doing well in mine. Hey, another thing too, this is cool. I've gone now, this is day 3 of not using any albuterol, for my lung COPD. which is really great. That means my lungs are trying to heal themselves. Now I'm going on 4 months where I've had to take breathing treatments every single day and a shitload of pills, man. But I'm fine. This, like I say, day 3. I felt like I was trying to struggle a little bit breathing last night around midnight. I woke up about 11:30, and but then I took a couple deep breaths. It hurt a little bit, but you know what? Still didn't have to use no albuterol, which that's great. So, on that note, boys and girls, maintenance, keeping stuff clean, organized is a constant thing when you have just a lot of stuff, man. As much as I sold, it's amazing how much you still, collect and the stuff you still have. When you start looking at, years and years and years of collecting shit, man. Well, I'll talk with you guys tonight. Let me know what you think. Throw your opinions in there, about the shop or whatever, or just any comment in general. Just anything that you want to talk about. Yeah, and I'll get with you guys tonight. Tom out of here. Love you.